It was the kind of rainy Chicago morning that made the sidewalks feel like they carried the weight of every tired soul that stepped on them. The drizzle wasn't heavy, just steady, enough to soak your sleeves and blur the city's skyline. Caleb Rivers stepped through the revolving glass doors of Monroe Dynamics, a brown folder tucked under one arm, and his 3-year-old daughter, Lena, cradled in the other. Her damp curls clung to his chest beneath his jacket, and her tiny fists held tight to his shirt like it was the last safe place in the world. His shirt, a faded pale blue, was ironed with care the night before. His shoes, well worn but polished, echoed softly on the marble floor as he crossed the atrium. He moved with purpose but not certainty, the kind of walk you take when hope is a fragile thing. Security let him pass without question. He had the confirmation printed. He'd even called HR. "We don't recommend bringing children, Mr. Rivers. It's not a professional." He had thanked them anyway, because there was no one else. No sitter. No mother. No miracle. Just this job interview. The elevator chimed. He stepped inside and pressed floor 9, engineering. Lena stirred but didn't wake. He pulled out his notes, quietly mouthing terms like control loop and diagnostic stack. He didn't notice when Lena, now blinking sleepily, touched the panel and lit up floor 14 instead. The elevator stopped with a soft ding. Caleb looked up, confused. The hallway beyond the doors was nothing like what he expected. It was silent, carpeted, warm. Soft yellow lights bathed polished artwork and minimalist furniture. This wasn't engineering. This was executive operations. And standing at the far end, in a pristine cream suit and heels that clicked with authority, was Evelyn Monroe, CEO and founder of Monroe Dynamics. Her platinum blonde hair was pulled back tight. Her expression blank, unreadable. Caleb backed up quickly. "Sorry, wrong floor. We'll just." But Lena had already sat up in his arms. She pointed down the hall and whispered, "Daddy, that lady looks like a queen." Evelyn's gaze didn't waver. "Are you a robot?" Lena asked, her voice carrying. An assistant walking by stopped mid-step. 2 executives paused at the door to a glass-walled office. Caleb flushed. "I'm so sorry. We're leaving now." But Evelyn was already walking toward them. Controlled. Precise. "You brought your child," she said, voice clipped. "I had no choice," Caleb replied. "I wasn't going to miss the opportunity." "There's always a choice," she said coolly. He nodded. "Not for people like me." Her eyes moved slowly, taking in the scuffed watch, the backpack with a missing zipper, the girl now hiding her face in his neck. She didn't say a word, just turned around and walked away. The elevator doors were still open. Caleb exhaled shakily and rode down in silence. On the engineering floor, the receptionist barely looked up. "You were advised not to bring your daughter." "I know," Caleb said, "but I couldn't leave her. I need this job." He took a seat. Lena nestled against him. 3 other candidates sat nearby. Sharp suits, gleaming shoes, resumes in leather folders. He looked down at his own, creased, water-spotted, and real. Soon, a man in a tight-collared shirt and no patience emerged. "Rivers." Yes, Caleb stood. Lena followed, holding his hand. The man frowned. "I was told your daughter wouldn't be here." "I understand," Caleb said. "It'll just take a minute." The interview room was sparse. Whiteboard, table, 2 chairs. Lena climbed up beside him without invitation. "I'd prefer we focus," the interviewer snapped. Caleb nodded. He knew how this would go. They began. Education. Work history. Credentials. "I don't have a graduate degree," Caleb admitted. "But I spent 10 years in adaptive systems. I stepped away to care for my wife after her accident. She passed 2 years ago." A pause. No reaction. "I've applied to more than 50 roles," he continued. "I'm not asking for charity. Just a chance." Lena slipped off the chair, walked over to the whiteboard. "Sweetheart," Caleb started, but she held up a finger. "1 minute, Daddy." She drew a big square. Then 3 stick figures. A cloud with wings. "That's us," she said proudly. "Me, Daddy, and Mommy. She's in the sky now. So we can't buy cereal with her anymore." The room was still. The door opened. Evelyn Monroe stepped in. No one had noticed her arrive. She walked in slowly, looked at the board, then at Caleb, then Lena. "Do you think this is a place for games?" she asked coldly. Caleb stood. "No, ma'am. I think this is a place for people who work hard and hope someone notices." The interviewer opened his mouth, but Evelyn raised a hand. Then, to everyone's shock, she pulled out a chair and sat. "For your daughter," she said simply. And with that, Evelyn Monroe, who once ran a company like a machine, made space for a man and his child. For the first time, Caleb thought, maybe this wasn't a mistake. Maybe they belonged here after all. The apartment was still and cold, lit only by a flickering desk lamp and the pale glow from the street below. Outside, rain tapped the window with quiet insistence. Caleb Rivers sat in silence, staring at the email from Evelyn Monroe. Subject: challenge. Deadline: 24 hours. Attached: system optimization problem. Note: real-world execution only. No theories. Lena, curled under a blanket on the couch nearby, let out a soft cough in her sleep. Caleb swallowed. His outdated laptop wheezed when booted. No advanced tools. No simulation engines. He had his mind, and love, and desperation. He made a single phone call to Alex Grant, an old college friend, who agreed to lend him an unused workstation for the night. Caleb bundled Lena up, fed her cereal and warm milk, then laid her down again, whispering, "I'll be right here, baby girl." By 10 p.m., he was deep in algorithms. By midnight, Lena's fever spiked. Caleb stopped everything, cooled her down, rocked her, held her until she slept again. By 2 a.m., the borrowed computer crashed during simulation. He rewrote everything from scratch, by hand, on printer paper. Diagrams, logic pathways, optimizations, line by line. At 4 a.m., his eyes burned, his back ached, but he saw it. A simpler architecture for the memory controller. Smarter, cheaper, more efficient. He taped Lena's old crayon drawing next to the desk. 3 stick figures, one with wings, all holding hands. Family. At 6:58 a.m., just under the wire, Caleb hit send. Subject: optimization solution, C. Rivers. High above downtown Chicago, Evelyn Monroe sat alone in her 14th floor office. She opened the file silently. She read line after line, code, simulations, circuit diagrams, even a hand-drawn fallback plan. No fluff, no guesswork, only truth. Her eyebrows lifted slightly. 3 of her Ivy League engineers had tried and failed. He hadn't. He'd solved it, then improved it. At the bottom of the page, one line. "Thank you for the chance to be seen, Caleb Rivers." By 9:02 a.m., her executive team was seated around the conference table. She placed the file before them without a word. "This solution," one engineer asked, "who's it from?" Evelyn's voice was steady. "The man you nearly dismissed for having a child in the lobby." And with that, the room changed. The murmurs stopped. One woman smiled. Caleb was reheating soup for Lena when a call came. Evelyn's voice was clear and calm. "We'd like to offer you a remote consulting position. You'll work on the new assistive robotics suite. And yes, if you need to bring your daughter, we'll make room." He didn't know what to say. So he said, "Thank you. You won't regret this." "I already don't." 2 months passed. Every morning at 7:45, Caleb arrived at Monroe Dynamics with Lena at his side. Sometimes she wore mismatched socks. Sometimes she hummed as she colored in the waiting area. Always, Caleb was on time. Always, his work was clean, thoughtful, and quietly brilliant. He didn't ask for credit. He just built solutions. Evelyn began to notice more than his code. The way he helped junior engineers without correcting them publicly. The way he never left a whiteboard smudged. How he stayed late without being asked. And then came the photo. Lena, asleep on a beanbag in a corner room, her hand clutching a plush robot. A whisper spread. "She's falling for the guy with the kid." Someone posted a photo to the internal chat with a caption, "Future CEO." Evelyn called an HR meeting that night. Quietly, directly. "This company does not mock kindness. We do not shame working parents. We make space or we become obsolete." By morning, all posts were deleted. Warnings were issued. The gossip died fast. One rainy evening, Caleb stayed home. Lena had a fever. 20 minutes later, Evelyn was at their apartment door. No umbrella. Just a small bag of supplies and a storybook tucked under her coat. She read to Lena, gently pressing a damp cloth to her forehead. Caleb watched from the doorway, stunned. "You're not who they say you are," he said quietly. Evelyn smiled, small but real. "I was once a child no one waited for. I remember how that feels." She didn't stay long. But when she left, something between them had changed. The bug came weeks later. A critical error flagged hours before a demo for investors. The logs traced the fault back to Caleb's credentials. The head of development, Scott Rayner, was quick to escalate. "He's a good guy," Scott said to leadership. "But this is a billion-dollar product. We can't afford emotional baggage." Caleb entered the team meeting knowing he was walking into a storm. "Was your daughter with you when you pushed this update? Are you sure this is the right role for you?" He didn't argue, just absorbed the heat in silence. Later, in his office, he began typing his resignation letter. That's when the door to the conference room slammed open. Evelyn Monroe walked in. No coat, no assistant, a file in hand. "Is this where we crucify the wrong man?" she said flatly. Everyone froze. She dropped the folder. Back-end security audit. Shows the code edit was made after Caleb logged out. Overwritten. Traced back to Scott Rayner's credentials. "Yes, Scott, you accessed the server at 11:37 p.m. Sunday. Building logs confirm your entry." "Anything to say?" Scott stammered. "It must be. You're done here." Security escorted him out. Then Evelyn turned to Caleb. "He's not just an engineer. He's the man who reminded me I'm still human." She handed him a new badge. Head of Human-Centered Robotics. Effective today. Caleb blinked, speechless. But around him, the silence had changed. It was filled with respect. A year later, the rooftop of Monroe Dynamics bloomed in lavender and silver. It was a Sunday wedding. No press, just those who mattered. Engineers in crooked ties. HR staff dabbing tears. Lena in a white dress, proudly announcing herself as Ring Guardian, Flower Commander, and Happiness Supervisor. Evelyn walked down the aisle. No iPad, no clipboard. Just a soft ivory dress and fresh lavender tucked behind her ear. Caleb stood waiting. Navy suit. No fear. Only love. Their vows were quiet. "I thought I'd lost everything," he said. "But life was clearing space for you." Evelyn took his hand. "You made me human again." Lena yelled, "You forgot to say I do." They laughed. Then Evelyn said it, "I do." And Lena screamed, "I have a dad. And a robot mom who loves." Everyone laughed, even Evelyn, especially Evelyn. That night, on the same rooftop, the lights of Chicago sparkled below them. Caleb held Evelyn's hand. "Do you remember when she asked if you were a robot?" "I didn't even smile back," Evelyn said. "You do now. And it's your fault," she whispered. "No," Caleb smiled. "It's ours." Behind them, Lena called, "Cake's melting." They turned together. 3 silhouettes stepped back into the soft golden light. No longer alone. A family. No permission needed. No perfection required. Just love and a seat at the table.